But I want to remind you about the true nature of Chrystia Freeland. I mean, as you know, her grandfather was a Nazi, an actual Nazi, who expropriated a newspaper from a Jew back in Ukraine and turned it into a Nazi propaganda rag. So her grandpa wasn't just a card-carrying Nazi. He was a Nazi propagandist, a Nazi activist who personally stole property from a Jew. And I don't know for a fact, but I would assume that the Jew was killed. Now, you cannot blame a granddaughter for the grandfather's Nazism. You can't. But Chrystia Freeland tried to cover that up, tried to hide that. And when it started circulating in the news, she denounced it as Russian disinformation. She actively covered up her grandfather's Nazism. Here's the Ottawa Citizen headline. Chrystia Freeland's granddad was indeed a Nazi collaborator. So much for Russian disinformation. It's a true story. And you can see that was published in 2017. She managed to hide it. And then she had a few other flashbacks where she showed that she is indeed her grandfather's granddaughter. She attended an event with a scarf that is sort of a signature item of a Ukrainian fascist leader. I don't want to get the name wrong. That was a scoop by our friend Candace Malcolm at True North. It was a Bandera scarf. Olivia, if you can Google, yeah, there you go. Slava Ukraini, which is fine. That means just, basically go Ukraine, strengthen Ukraine. But she's wearing a scarf, or maybe that is the scarf, in the Banderite colors, which is basically the Nazi leader during the Second World War. And of course, she was on her feet applauding wildly when an actual Nazi SS soldier, Yaroslav Hunka, I think was his last name, was introduced to the Canadian Parliament. And I was watching this because you might recall Vladimir Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, was in Parliament. It was the big day. Everyone was excited. And I was watching. And the Speaker of the House introduces this stranger that none of us knew. Do you want to play it? Go ahead and play it. Yeah, there he is. And he's very old now. I think he's in his 90s. And there I don't know why he's wiping his brow like that. And maybe he's just elderly and he gives sort of a cheer. He can't believe it. He's been not just a regular Nazi, an SS officer. And he can't believe that he's getting a standing ovation in the Canadian Parliament. I was watching this live at home. I remember. And I remember they announced him in some way. He fought against the Russians in the Second World War. And I thought, I don't like the Soviets or something. I thought, I don't like the Soviets much myself, but the people who were fighting against the Soviets in the Second World War, they were the Nazis. And I Googled it, and I was, just to toot my own horn, I was one of the first people to say, what the hell? Who is this guy? And it was just astonishing. So yeah, Chrystia Freeland has those Nazi instincts in her, and she works on the board of directors by another son of a Nazi named Klaus Schwab. Do you have the World Economic Forum biography handy? Chrystia Freeland is no longer in the Canadian cabinet, which is tantamount to the board of directors of Canada. So here's her board of directors on the World Economic homepage. And you can see they haven't yet updated the news. I'll read it to you. World Economic Forum. The Honourable Chrystia Freeland is Canada's Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance. She was first elected as MP for Toronto Centre in July 2013. She was elected as an MP for University Rosedale, that's the proper name of the university riding, in October 2019, and re-elected in October 2019 and September 2021. from 20, blah, blah, blah. But let me read the last sentence to you. Scroll down a little bit. An esteemed journalist and author, blah, blah, blah. Scroll down a little bit more, a little bit more. She has written 2 books. There we go. She joined the Thomson Reuters. She's written 2 books, Sale of the Century, The Inside Story of the Second Russian Revolution, and Plutocrats. She was recognized. Scroll down a little bit more. Boy, this is very long. She is a member of the Forum's Board of Trustees. So she is on the Board of Trustees of the World Economic Forum. And scroll up a bit. She was the official biographer. A little bit more up. And a little bit more up. I'm trying to find it. I'm pretty sure it's in this biography that they discuss her role as George Soros's authorized biographer. Scroll up a little bit more. I can't find it there, but I'll look for it elsewhere. That's what she was doing before she became an MP. She was George Soros's authorized biographer. You know what an authorized biographer is, right? I mean, you could call me a Trudeau biographer. I just released a new book on him. I'm writing about Trudeau, but obviously it was not an authorized biography. An authorized biography is more of a PR document. They're often done working with the subject who gives you access to private materials, but also has control. The reason that it's authorized is they know you're going to say friendly things. That's who Chrystia Freeland is. Granddaughter of a Nazi, works with Klaus Schwab, whose father was a Nazi, and works with George Soros, who actually was a Nazi collaborator. Can you Google the image of Trudeau, Freeland, and Soros in one of his first foreign trips after being elected back in 2015? Chrystia Freeland accompanied Trudeau to the World Economic Forum and sort of showed him around. And one of the first private meetings they had was that's it right there. That's from January 2016. Chrystia Freeland and Justin Trudeau. Who's the boss? Let's just look at the body language there. Who's the boss in that room? And since then, can you now Google Alex Soros and Trudeau? Alex is the son of George Soros, and he's the inheritor. George Soros is in his 80s, and I'm not sure how long he'll be around, but he's really bequeathed things to his son, a younger, dumber, meaner Soros. And Trudeau meets with them, and Alex Soros collects politicians all the time. And go ahead and show that one there. That's Alex Soros on the right and Justin Trudeau in the center. And George Soros decomposing before our eyes. So there's another generation. By the way, Alex Soros is now dating Huma Abedin. Actually, they're married. Huma Abedin, Hillary Clinton's former staffer. So that's a little bit about Chrystia Freeland. But like I say, I don't want to judge someone too much based on what happened before they were even born, what their grandfather did before they were even born. The fact that Chrystia Freeland later tried to cover it up, I think, is newsworthy. And the fact that she welcomed a Nazi SS officer to Parliament is newsworthy. But let me show you about Chrystia Freeland herself. And few things sum her up better than the next 2 videos I want to show you. I want to show you the video of her imposing sanctions on Canadians who dared to attend the peaceful political protest of the trucker convoy, the largest peaceful protest in Canadian history. No acts of violence other than when police shot our reporter Alexa Lavoie. And without judicial process, without a court action, based on media gossip, she ordered the banks to seize hundreds and hundreds of bank accounts of families. And of course, a lot of families, the husband and the wife, jointly have the accounts. So husband is maybe at the protest, wife at the grocery store, suddenly none of her cards work. And I mean none. Not just the bank accounts frozen, the credit cards frozen. Imagine the trauma, the shock, the embarrassment, hundreds of times. And the way she laughed while doing it, I'll never forget that. Her Nazi grandfather looking up from hell must be so proud of this little Nazi here. Here, take a look at Chrystia Freeland laughing and smirking while destroying hundreds of lives. Take a look.
So you're confirming that accounts have been frozen, both personal and corporate, but you're not releasing the information. And the actual follow-up is, I'm just wondering whether the bank accounts will be targeted of individuals who donated to the Give, Send, Go and the GoFundMe campaigns. Are they considered designated people under the Emergencies Act, meaning that their credit cards could be cut and financial services are targeting them as well?
Okay, so the names of both individuals and entities, as well as crypto wallets, have been shared by the RCMP with financial institutions, and accounts have been frozen, and more accounts will be frozen. Crowdfunding platforms and payment service providers have started the registration process with FinTrack. In terms of the specifics on whose accounts are being frozen, you now have the regulations. The financial service providers have those regulations as well, and they, working with law enforcement, will be making the operational decisions.
Really, the important thing I wanted to show you there was her glee, her laughing. It was a delight for her to seize and freeze family bank accounts with no legal process, no court order, no search warrant, no hearing. Look at that laugh. She's just having the time of her life. Her Nazi grandpa would be so proud. To me, that's the essential Chrystia Freeland. I want to show you another clip. This is from January this year, when she was attending a vigil for Persian Canadians, Iranian Canadians, who had lost family in a terrorist attack perpetrated by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. That's a terrorist group in Iran. And the chutzpah of Chrystia Freeland showing up at this vigil when she refused to ban the IRGC was astonishing. Public sidewalk, public event. Our reporter David actually being invited to the event. David's clearly wearing his journalistic lanyard. He's got a cameraman there. He's got his microphone. He's asking a question in the public interest of a public person in a public place. He's immediately jumped by Freeland's bodyguards. And instead of saying, no, guys, this is fine. No, it's okay. Or even saying, make an appointment or I'll talk to you later, or I don't have time to talk. Instead of saying anything, she just smirks as the police physically rough up David and lie about him. If we didn't have this on tape, David would surely be convicted of assault. Take a look.
Ms. Freeland, how come the IRGC is not a terrorist group? Why is your government supporting Islamo-Nazis? What? Excuse me. What are you doing?
You're under arrest for assault. Why are you pushing me? You're under arrest for assault.
Who are you?
You're under arrest for assault.
Police, you're under arrest for assault. How am I under arrest? You bumped into me.
You pushed into me.
You bumped. I was just scrubbing. I got my credentials here, and you just bumped into me. So excuse
Police,
me.
You're under arrest.
What is your name in your badge?
What is your name in your badge? You've been told you're under arrest.
Why am I under arrest? Come on over here. We've got a couple options. He blocked my way. What? I was just scrumming Chrystia Freeland.
I'm a police officer. You're under arrest.
What is your name and your badge number?
Assaulting a police officer.
How is that possible?
Okay, because
you assaulted me 3 years ago when blackface was back.
I was very aggressive. What was happening?
You mean I was asking questions aggressively?
No, your actions were. You were almost pushing everybody over. That's how it appears.
Lincoln, you got this on video, right? He's saying I'm pushing people over?
Yeah.
That's an absolute falsehood.
There were feet were shuffling.
So now it appeared that way. That's what you're saying, officer? It appeared I was pushing people. I didn't touch a single person.
That was a little bit aggressive for what was happening. Get that. You're under arrest. Please take the microphone out of my face.
Well,
all right, you get the feeling, you get the spirit of it. She was just happy to let the police do to her critics what her grandpa would have done to his critics.